All right, so before we jump into the next project, just so you guys see a real good visual of what happens in methods and where our code goes. Okay, so we have our class, we have our main method. Our main method is inside of that class, and you think of everything as code blocks. So this is the end of my code, the end of that main method. And inside the main method, I'm calling a method twice. I'm calling this print method, which all it's doing is printing hello. So I'm going to step through this code, and I'm going to attach the link to this the project videos for you guys to kind of play around with, because this is really good to understand this. Okay, so when we start our main method, it's going to go down in the code block to the first line of code that it has. And that is where you see that line right there. It's saying the next line to execute is this right here, this print line, or the print. Okay, so what it's doing is now it has pass control, because here it's calling that method. So it's pass control of the program to this print method. And it's going to the first line in this print method, which is just to print out hello. So that would be the code that's going to execute. So when I step through, it prints, it is finished printing, and it goes to the end of the code block. So that's line 10. It doesn't keep going. What's going to happen now is that the code is going to reach the end of that method and go back up to the line right after it left. So it's going to now go to this print, which is on line 5, which should pass control to this print method again. So let's step through. It passes control to the print method and executes any of the code in there, starting from top to bottom. Once it reaches that, so see now it's printed, it has finished its code, and it's going to go back because it was called from line 5. It's going to go to the line right after that. So when I run through, now it gets to line 6, and 6 is showing the end of the main method's code block. So that would finish the whole program. Okay, so all we're doing when we're using methods is we're just passing control of what our code is doing to a method. Once it finishes, it returns back where it left off. Okay, so let's look at our requirements for a method project. Okay, so this method project, you don't need to use Scanner unless you want to. I would encourage you to go ahead and try it. It would make it so that your code is a little bit more reusable. You are going to have a commit for your entire IntelliJ project, for creating the IntelliJ project, I should say, and a commit for each method. Okay? All right, so you're going to have to create a method that doesn't return anything, so that means you're going to want to use void, so public static void, and you want it to print hello world. Okay? Then you're going to create a method that returns hello with whatever name that they type. Okay? You're going to create a method that multiplies two given numbers. Those are your two parameters together, and it returns the result. Okay? And you're going to have to be able to demo this. So that means that anything that returns are going to have to print out and say what it's printing out. Okay, you're going to have to create a method that divides two given numbers, the two parameters that you're giving, and returns a double result, so not an int. I want to see the number with the decimals. You need to create a method that finds the max number of doubles, okay, between two values. So if you have 5 and 10, you need to use your conditionals, your if statements, to return the number that is the largest. Okay, and you need to create a method that will switch the order of two words and return it. So an example of this, If I had hello and I have world, I want it to return, okay? I want it to return world and hello, okay? So you may have to use a couple of temporary variables in this method to be able to switch the order when you are returning something, okay? That is just to get your feet wet on the methods. Your next thing is 10 challenges from Coding Bat. So if I go into the class and some of you I know have already started doing Coding Bat, but for this assignment, you guys are going to have to do at least 10. Okay, so if we go down to Coding Bat right here, I have the website link and I have a walkthrough on how to do Coding Bat. When you are in Coding Bat, the only ones that you need to do right now, string 1 is a good one to start at. And if you wanted to try getting your feet more wet on the logic, so that's using conditionals, that's using the or statements and the and statements. So if this, then this, for building these. So after you have done that method project with those different methods, you would have enough in your arsenal to be able to tackle these two. I find that they're really good challenges. They will help you. And when you are done with attacking them, all you're going to do is you're going to take a screenshot of each page that is showing the ones that you have completed. Yes, I know that you could go in and you could get the answers out of them. On some of them, it will show you examples or different ways to write it. What I want you guys to do, though, is I want you to work at trying to understand these processes and how to write them, start breaking down the logic, because the more complex our programs are going to get, the easier it is for you to write them if you have a good solid foundation on breaking the stuff up into methods. Coding Bat, all it does is it helps you break up your program into a small method. And so it gives you, and I have it in the video, it gives you what its requirement is, it gives you some test cases, and you're trying to write reusable code using the dry mentality. Okay, so the logic. So you guys are doing, for the method project, you're going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 methods. Total of 6 methods. I should see, if we're counting the initial commit and your IntelliJ project commit, a total of 8 commits at a minimum. Okay, you will still have to demo this code. So when you turn into the assignment, you will turn in your GitHub repo link with minimum of 8 commits, 1 for each method, 1 for the IntelliJ project, and it automatically creates one the very first time. You will turn in a screencast demo of the code running, so I should be able to see the execution of every method to make sure that it's running correctly. Of every method. So that could be done. I'm expecting a video of approximately 2.5–3 minutes explaining what each method does in a quick execution of the entire program, so you can show me that the methods are doing what you're saying. Then you will have a screen capture of a total of 10 Coding Bat challenges. All right. All 3 of these things will be turned into the method project. Okay. Make sure that you guys are setting time. You could easily do 2 to 3 coding bat challenges in a given period. As you get better with them, it really only takes a few minutes once you just start thinking about it. I'm trying to get you guys to start stepping into thinking of your programming in a logical way, so that when we get into building some games, it will be much easier. So get to practicing. Make sure you're breaking down your stuff. And as always, when you're going through, decide what you want it to do, build it in steps. And if the method is doing too much, you might need to break it into smaller methods, okay? All of these methods could be used using all of the code that you have in your arsenal right now. You just need to actually plan out your code, okay? Good luck and have fun.